Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Throwback Thursday, where I'm going to be going back and reviewing. We're going to start with The Walking Dead, the entire series, each episode. So we're going to do that first. It might be a different one after all. I don't even know how many seasons this show has, maybe 9. After all 9 seasons, we'll start another show. But that's what we're going to do. But right now, we're going to do The Walking Dead. And I decided to do this because I had uploaded a couple of these audio reviews a long time ago on a different channel that got no views. And this one's going to be the same thing. No one's going to watch it here either. But hey, guess what? I feel better. I'm going to edit it and change it. So I'm going to use my old audio reviews up until, I think I got up to like season 3. And then I stopped reviewing these episodes. So once I get to that, I'm going to start rewatching The Walking Dead all over again and do the reviews. So here we go. Here is the first Throwback Thursday episode for The Walking Dead, Season 1, Episode 1, Days Gone By. Hope you like it. The pilot was called Days Gone By. And the story starts out, you see a sheriff's car driving down a road. You think everything's fine and dandy until the officer gets out, and as we introduce to our main character, Rick Grimes, comes out and sees, chaos, and you're wondering, are they going to show how this happened? They don't, but, when you're watching, you wonder. I remember the first time I saw this, I wondered that too. I was like, are we going to show this? But no, this is the little teaser. So he's looking for gas, so he's walking down, and then you see all these abandoned cars, and people were rummaging through them, scavenging through them for things, and he's looking for gas, so he's looking, and all of a sudden, I forgot what happens, but he bends down. I think he hears something, so he bends down. He sees like this little kid's feet in slippers. The little girl bends down, picks up a teddy bear, so he's like, oh my god, it's a human. So then Rick gets up and he looks and he sees the back of his little girl, maybe like 6 years old. And when the girl turns around, she's a walker. Her face is destroyed. You see, this is what I like about the first season. And I think it has to do more with Frank Darabont than anything else. And this story, the way this actual script is done is beautiful. It really is. It's a great story. I'll get into it later, but you already see that the walkers or the zombies in this world at one point were intelligent or somewhat intelligent. And I'll talk about it later when we get to later episodes. You'll see how they were smarter than they are now. And of course you could say, oh, they're deteriorating or whatever. But this girl could bend down, pick up a freaking teddy bear, and keep walking. And then when she hears something, she doesn't respond right away, but she turns around later and she sees it, and then she starts walking towards him, and he starts backing up, and as soon as he starts going a little faster, she goes faster, and she starts charging towards him. What's he do? Lets off a round and destroys her, setting the tone for everybody watching that this is not, your regular little television show, that we're gonna go places. And you just saw, we just killed a little girl, even though she was already dead. But look, we get a flashback of Shane and Rick in a car talking about what's the difference between men and women. And we're also getting to see the difference between these two characters. And you actually get to see their friendship, and Shane is actually a real friend to Rick and tells him this story, but knows while he's telling him this story that there's something Rick's not telling him. He said, so what's up? Why you asked me about what's going on in your relationship that you have to ask me about this? But it's a good little back and forth. It's not like Reservoir Dogs where there's a lot of talking. It's short, but you get to know each person and how they are. And so Rick says that he got into an argument with his wife Lori, and she said, sometimes I wonder if you even care about us. It also makes you think, like this little build-up makes you think, and they later on they cancel it, but it makes you think the way Shane looks at Rick when Rick's talking about Lori and mentioning these things, that Shane's already had an affair with Lori. That's what it makes you, it seems like, to me, watching it again. It's like the way Shane looks, it's like kind of like, you don't know. But I don't know. It's just my interpretation for that little scene or a little look that he gave him was kind of like maybe they're already having an affair, or maybe they're interested in each other. Maybe, obviously, Shane is interested in Lori, but that's his best friend's girlfriend or wife, so he's not going to do anything. But you could see like there's something there, like I don't know, it was something in that scene. Then they get a call that these bank robbers, or I don't know what they are speeding through, and they gotta catch him, I guess. You know, they're driving towards Atlanta or from Atlanta to wherever they are. They go out on this wild chase, and basically Rick gets shot. And he gets shot in the back. Well, he gets shot twice. He gets shot in his bulletproof vest, and then later with a shotgun, he gets shot in the back of his or lower shoulder, like right underneath his shoulder. And, you know, you see, again, Shane as a friend, like, really caring for Rick. And it's also funny, like, the first time he gets shot and nothing happened, he's like, don't you tell Lori that this happened. And then, boom, he gets shot again for real. And it's like, oh, we can't not tell her now. So, yeah, that happens. And then later on, so this whole story so far, we got only to see the little girl, Walker. But besides that, all we're seeing is flashbacks or, you know, the actual story, origin story of Rick Grimes from the apocalypse or when he wakes up till whenever, and his friendship with Shane. And you get to see that Shane's actually a friend. So Shane's in the hospital, gives him something, and then it's like the music changes, but nothing else changes, just the music. And then Rick says something, and he looks, and the flowers are dead. It's been a long time. Shane's not there anymore. So that was just a memory he had. And then he tries to get up and get out, and then he's seeing that the fucking hospital's abandoned. There's a fucking dead woman on the floor, and then there's a door that says, do not open, dead inside. And he's like, what the hell's going on here? Like, what's going on? Where is everybody? Like, and he's still hurting. He can't really walk that much. He's walking slow. He leaves, and he sees the end of the world. The world's over. Sees body bags, dead people, just destruction, you know, total destruction. Helicopters, just everything's over. Like, just imagine that. I don't know if the Walking Dead comic came out before 28 Days Later. I'm not sure, but that was always a really good idea, and a lot of comics have done that too. Besides Walking Dead, I remember I read a comic once that they also did the opening just like that, like 28 Days Later, and this where somebody wakes up in the hospital. Just imagine, that's the craziest thing. Like, you wake up and you're like, the world ended, and like you don't know if there's anybody else out there. So Rick is trying to go home. He's trying to get home. He's trying to find Lori, and he's about to die. He hasn't found a single person. He hasn't walked into a walker, thank God. So he's walking, and he's just like, he thinks everything's over, and he collapses. And then all of a sudden he hears something. He turns around, and he sees this guy. I think this is what happened. I don't know. I forget. But all I know is he gets hit over the face with a shovel by a little boy. And he thinks that that's Carl, but it's not. And you get introduced to Morgan, another survivor, and Morgan and his son. And basically they take in Rick, they patch him up, or they replace his bandage. So I'm not going to reiterate the entire story, because you can watch it for yourself. What I'm going to say is, from here on, after meeting Morgan for the first time, the first half of the movie is like a Twilight Zone episode, which is great, because you're getting to this guy waking up, and he's in the end of the world, and it's like he's looking to see anybody, and there's nobody. He can't find a single person. And finally, when he does find somebody, he's told, yeah, the world's over pretty much, and your wife and kids might not be alright. But Rick's not going to hear that. He wants to go back to his house. He wants to check to make sure, and then he has, you know, a feeling like, no, she took pictures, she's alive. And then they said, well, if she's alive, she probably went to Atlanta. And that's where Rick's headed. Rick goes down to Atlanta. He wants to go find his wife. Morgan and his son say no, because Morgan has another issue himself. He has his wife that passed away, turned to a walker, and he couldn't kill her. So he has to finish that before he can go. And yeah, it's a great first episode. And Frank Darabont is the perfect guy to take this world and bring it to life. And it's so much better than Fear the Walking Dead. You know, and also because you have great actors. Lenny James is a good actor. I might have said he's, you know, for the pilot at least, he's a good actor. Rick Grimes or Andrew Lincoln was fantastic. You know, when you found out he was British, you were like, what? And Shane, amazing actor. Everybody loves Shane, and he's phenomenal in this show, in this episode too. You kind of see that as is his friend, but then you also see at the same time in this episode, hey. As soon as his friend died, he was like, hey, Lori, you're my girl now. And he doesn't treat her like he talked about how he treated other women. Well, maybe he doesn't in some other way. But well, he says he does things politely. But yeah, the whole banter in the beginning kind of like, it's like not how he is with Lori. But yeah, so Lori and Carl are safe, and Shane did that. Shane saved them. And but Rick's on a mission, and he wants to go find his family. And that's why I think Frank Darabont brought a terrific story to life. And it was just a great... It's just, I don't know. I always wanted a zombie apocalypse show on television. I thought it would be great. And then Frank Darabont was the perfect person. I don't know if you guys have seen The Mist. You should see The Mist. It's a great movie, too. Rick gives Morgan a walkie, and he tells him he's going to try to reach him, contact him, let him know if the coast is clear in Atlanta, and try to keep in touch with him. Heads down to Atlanta on a horse he finds, and then he sees a helicopter, and out of nowhere, he runs towards, goes towards the helicopter to see what's going on, and gets ambushed by a bunch of walkers. And has to crawl underneath into a tank. They never bring back the helicopter, I don't think, for 2 years. I think season 3 they bring it back up, kind of. They never bring it up in season 1. They just call him Helicopter Boy from then on. But yeah, so he gets in the tank. I was at Comic-Con 2010. I went there, and they showed this part before the show aired. They showed this scene with the helicopter and everything. Everyone went crazy when after Rick's ears were all fucked up, and all of a sudden you hear, hey, dumbass, hey, you in the tank. Everyone just started cheering like crazy, and that's how that's what we saw, and then the show ends right there. It was a great episode. It's a good way to start the series too. You can rewatch it like I just did, and it's really good. Like, there are episodes that are going to be terrible, but this one was really good. I will say, I'm not that crazy about Lenny James. Oh, about the walkers. If Frank Darabont was going to change things up and make things much more different from the comics, I think. That's what I really think he wanted to do. And he did interesting things with the walkers, as we'll talk about in episode 2. Or we could talk about it here. Look, the walkers, the little girl is smart. She can see that that's her doll. Instincts in her brain are still working. And she picks it up. She bends down, she picks it up, and she's still walking. That, just like Morgan's wife knows that house. I used to stay in that house. I was staying there when I was trying to survive with my husband. They're in there. And she goes to the door. She knows they're in there. Just like later on in another episode, Down the Road, which is the coolest thing. I was just watched it recently. I don't know what episode it is. I think it's season 2. So I shouldn't talk about it yet. But anyway, in the next episode, the walkers can run and climb. Like, those are great fucking cool things. And they don't do that anymore. And they don't do that in Fear the Walking Dead either. They don't do that. It's ridiculous. So it's like, why am I going to watch this show? It's I don't know. I'm not going to say it's garbage, but I really don't like Fear the Walking Dead. If it was me, I would have done, and I was working with them, I would say, instead of doing this, why don't we do an anthology series, which I heard Frank Darabont wanted to do, which is going to be like the Twilight Zone, but in The Walking Dead. And instead of following a cast of crew, how about we just follow every episode is a different group of survivors and from a different time periods of the zombie apocalypse. I think that would be much cooler. And you could call it Live the Walking Dead or some shit. I don't know. Because now I Fear the Walking Dead is that stupid show. Anyway, I like this show. This episode. It was a really good way to start the show. Especially they'll kick it off with Rick killing the little girl. And then at the same time, it's introducing us not only to Rick and Shane, but also to this world and what we're in store for. And that these walkers are not like, or zombies, are not like zombies we've seen in other films. Although they kind of are similar to George Romero's Land of the Dead zombies that become smarter, or Day of the Dead, where, Bub's remembering things. In that case, because they do remember things, like I said already. And that's something that's just been lost from the show altogether. Yeah, I like the show. I feel terrible because I know there's so much more that we could have gotten if Frank Darabont was still around. But at least we got one great episode. Besides that, the whole first season is pretty good, except the last one. But we'll talk about that when that one comes up. Let me know what you guys thought about the pilot episode down below. Did you like it when it first aired? Did you not like it? Would you look back on it now and kind of say, oh, it's not that bad? Let me know. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.